Zishu's primordial spirit had already collapsed. His physical body fell from midair, crashing to the ground. The gap between him and Wang Lin was too great. Even the sword chi his master had given him didn't have the chance to be unleashed before he died. Wang Lin's mind and body brewed with intense madness. The immortal energy within him surged violently, coursing through his meridians and primordial spirit. Combined with the stimulation of the Ascension fruit, his battle intent surged, and his killing intent was boundless. His eyes turned blood red as he stepped forward from midair. A thunderous sound echoed, as if he had shattered the sky with his step, and he walked with rapid strides, like a meteor. The place he was in was far from the ancient battlefield. Wang Lin's eyes, bloodshot and filled with slaughterous aura, attracted the attention of many from the land of demonic spirits. Among them were cultivators and demon generals from the Fire Demon province. As long as they didn't provoke Wang Lin, he wouldn't pay them any attention. However, if anyone harbored killing intent toward him, Wang Lin, with his terrifying sensitivity, would almost instantly detect it. Anyone with killing intent would be mercilessly killed by Wang Lin. Far away, there was a private planet called Imo Domain, located within the Destiny Star. On this planet lived a man who called himself Imozu. His cultivation had reached the Yin deficiency realm, where one could question the Yin and Yang and the void and reality. This time, he entered the land of demonic spirits, far surpassing the qualifications for entry with his cultivation level. However, his 3 disciples, except for his first disciple, had all entered. At this moment, within the Fire Demon province, 2 young men dressed in gray robes were flying at high speed. These 2 were Imozu's direct disciples. As they flew, one suddenly had a gleam in his eyes and looked far into the sky. He clearly felt a terrifying killing intent, as if an ancient fierce beast was rushing towards them with unimaginable malice. His expression changed as he shouted, "Junior brother, retreat quickly." The 2 immediately scattered in opposite directions. At that moment, a figure like a shooting star approached from the distance, stepping forward with incredible speed. The figure flashed past them. Questioning the peak, the disciple's pupil shrank. "Senior brother, he seems injured." His junior brother, staring at the blood-red figure brimming with killing intent, suddenly transmitted his voice. A cultivator who has reached the questioning the peak stage must have many treasures on him. If we could get his demon crystal. His senior brother's eyes narrowed, hesitating for a moment. "Senior brother, we are both in the late infant metamorphosis stage. If we join forces, although we may not have much of a chance, we could take on an injured questioning the peak cultivator. If we use magical artifacts as well." As the 2 communicated, Wang Lin suddenly paused, turned slowly, and with his blood-red eyes fixed on the distance, murmured, "Killing intent." He suddenly lunged backward like a thunderclap, charging directly toward the 2 disciples. Seeing Wang Lin turn back, their expressions changed. They quickly dispersed, but Wang Lin's speed was too fast. In a flash, he was right next to the junior brother. His right hand shot forward with a flick. The young man's face changed drastically. He froze in shock, meeting Wang Lin's gaze. The look was terrifying. The moment Wang Lin's finger moved, the young man felt an irresistible pressure as if that finger represented the Tao of heaven itself. The finger struck with unimaginable speed, landing directly on the young man's forehead. With a cry of agony, his body withered instantly, falling from the sky. His primordial spirit shattered almost instantly, and his essence mixed with the slaughterous chi that shot out from his mouth and nostrils, flying toward Wang Lin. The scene unfolded too quickly. The senior brother didn't even have time to react. When he snapped out of his shock, he shivered and immediately used instantaneous movement to enter the void. Wang Lin took a step forward, breaking through the air. His right hand turned into a claw and reached forward. It seemed as if his fingers pierced through the void, and he forcibly pulled the young man who had teleported out of it. The young man's face turned pale as he desperately said, "I'm Imozu's disciple." Before he could finish, Wang Lin's claw squeezed, and his body instantly collapsed, turning into chunks of blood and flesh, scattering across the ground. His life force transformed into gray energy and flew toward Wang Lin. After killing the 2, Wang Lin's eyes glowed even redder, and his battle intent surged higher. His body suddenly surged forward, speeding toward the distance. As Wang Lin flew, the earth continued to wither. Every living being died, whether plants, animals, or birds, transforming into white light and nourishing Wang Lin's body with their life essence. It was as though he came from the demon realm or hell, devouring all life force. as Wang Lin's flight continued in a straight line through the Fire Demon Province. Everything along his path withered and died. The entire Fire Demon Province was subjected to massive death along his route. For a province, this was a great dishonor and provocation. Dozens of demon generals were dispatched to encircle and exterminate this blasphemous cultivator. The location of the encirclement was at the border between the Fire Demon Province and the Heavenly Demon Province, a place known as 10,000 Demon Mountain. Thick fog enveloped the 10,000 Demon Mountain, lingering for a long time without dispersing. On either side of the mountain, there were two cities. One was Tianyi City in the Fire Demon Province, while the other, across from it, was Ronghua City in the Heavenly Demon Province. At this moment, in Tianyi City, 100,000 demon soldiers were ready for battle, and more than 10 demon generals stood on the city walls, gazing into the distance. Among them, there was one man, a middle-aged figure with a dark expression. Killing that cultivator is not difficult for us. With Deputy Commander here, killing him will be effortless, said one of the demon generals standing beside the middle-aged man, a smile on his face. Despite the smile, his demeanor was respectful. Indeed, with the Deputy Commander here, we can turn that person to ashes in no time. Another demon general laughed heartily. Finish it quickly. After the cultivator is dead, I will leave, the middle-aged man said indifferently. Though his face remained grim, there was a flash of pride in his eyes. As Deputy Commander, his status was extremely high, and he would not have been asked to leave the capital for a mere cultivator. He had originally planned to visit the Heavenly Demon Province for personal matters, but upon arriving, he received an order from the Demon Emperor of the Fire Demon Province to stay for a few days and lead the demon generals to kill a cultivator. He was quite reluctant about this arrangement. In his view, killing a cultivator didn't require so many people. It was more trouble than it was worth. After a brief pause, he asked, "Are you sure this person will pass through here?" "Deputy Commander, rest assured. We have sent many scouts. His path is a straight line, and it will certainly pass through here." "Deputy Commander, I have some doubts. Of the 10 scouts we sent, 3 were killed, but not all of them died. This is troubling. It seems that the cultivator has some peculiar habits when it comes to killing," said one of the demon generals. As they conversed, the middle-aged man's expression shifted. He looked up and gazed into the distance. His eyes narrowed in irritation as he said, "A mere early-stage ascendant, and severely injured at that, dares to be arrogant in my Fire Demon Province? You all finish him quickly." The 10 or so demon generals around him immediately narrowed their eyes, releasing a cold light. One of them, wearing blue armor, stepped forward, clasped his fists, and loudly said, "Deputy Commander, I am Dong. I am willing to go into battle and kill this person." The middle-aged man nodded in approval. Dong stepped forward, leaping into the air, his body turning into a streak of blue light as he flew toward Wang Lin, who was heading in their direction. A cold glint flashed in Dong's eyes as a killing intent emerged. He wanted to impress the Deputy Commander by killing this person in a spectacular fashion. If he could earn the Deputy Commander's favor, his future would be set. An injured ascendant in the early stage? Humph. My demon power has nearly reached 300,000. Though I may not stand a chance against a full-powered ascendant, with you wounded, killing you will not be difficult. That killing intent. Wang Lin, in mid-flight, felt an overwhelming red glow in his eyes, filled with battle intent and murderous intent. "Stop right there," Dong yelled suddenly while flying. With this shout, he unleashed nearly all his demon power to intimidate Wang Lin. The shout echoed like thunder, and all the demon soldiers in the city rallied, a thick murderous aura spreading through the sky. On the city walls, the middle-aged man's eyes glinted with admiration. He thought to himself, Dong is not bad. He knows how to pressure people with momentum. Feeling the tremendous pressure of the environment, Dong was quite proud, but he had no idea that the killing aura was opening a bloody door leading to hell. This overwhelming killing aura was instantly detected by Wang Lin, whose already frenzied battle spirit exploded even further under its pressure. Without hesitation, he took a step forward. Dong snorted coldly and was about to unleash his divine power when Wang Lin suddenly looked up. His eyes flashed with a crimson glow, and he raised his right hand. With a single movement, the annihilation finger instantly turned into a black beam, several feet in diameter, and rapidly exploded toward Dong. Dong didn't even have time to dodge before the black light engulfed him. His body visibly withered and collapsed. In that moment, the battlefield, filled with 100,000 demon soldiers, fell silent. An eerie stillness blanketed the area. On the city walls, the middle-aged man's expression tightened, for the first time showing a hint of caution. Kill. In the silence, Wang Lin let out a furious roar. Waves of killing intent surged from his body, transforming into a series of azure dragons. In the blink of an eye, the 30,000 killing intents he had absorbed earlier spread out. Wang Lin, surrounded by 30,000 dragons of slaughter, looked like a demon lord descending from the heavens. All commanders, listen up. Formation, annihilate the enemy, shouted an elder among the demon generals. As the demon soldiers mobilized, the 30,000 killing intents surrounding Wang Lin collided with the ground, unleashing a blood-soaked storm. At this moment, Wang Lin had gone mad. He no longer feared death, so how could he care about these demon soldiers? His slaughter immortal art grew stronger with each kill, gaining life from the very act of slaughter. Moreover, at this moment, Wang Lin's essence spirit was filled with the Ascension fruit, and his body surged with immense immortal power. How could he be stopped by these 100,000 demon soldiers? If the number of demon soldiers were 5 times greater, Wang Lin would surely be defeated. But now, facing 100,000 demon soldiers, he would not lose. The slaughter chi surged into the demon soldiers, and with their anguished cries, the collective demon power of the 100,000 soldiers coalesced into a massive illusory scorpion. This scorpion, formed from demon aura, was enormous. Its tail especially emitted a strange, eerie glow, and as it swung, it seemed capable of shattering space itself. On the city walls, a middle-aged man's eyes darkened. He spoke coldly, "Charge, kill him." Without hesitation, the demon generals beside him charged out, heading straight for Wang Lin. More than 10 waves of intense killing intent immediately reached Wang Lin. His eyes flashed with a red glow, and his body surged forward as his right pinky finger pointed forward. Netherworld finger. Using his Ascension realm cultivation, Wang Lin executed the Netherworld finger. The moment his finger moved, the world seemed to light up with countless lightning strikes. Amidst this lightning, a great river appeared in the sky. The water of this river was murky, filled with severed limbs drifting by, and countless vicious souls and wild ghosts struggled within it. Their faces contorted in myriad forms, all within the river. With a flick of Wang Lin's pinky, the river churned, waves crashing down from the sky like a flood, directly assaulting the demon soldiers. Wherever the river passed, all living beings were pulled into it. The waters of the netherworld drank the blue skies, the world became muddied, and the cycle of life and death was set in motion. This river of the netherworld was the result of Wang Lin's 10 years of comprehension after merging his essence spirit with his Tao concept. This river was not governed by the laws of the world, but instead, formed from his own Tao, the realization of the cycle of life and death after 10 years of insight. He had used a single finger to manifest this endless river of the netherworld. As soon as the demon generals charged out, they were immediately swept away by the netherworld, merged into it. A chorus of astonished exclamations came from the demon generals. They couldn't believe their eyes. This young man was just too powerful. One divine art, and all the demon generals were ensnared. They couldn't understand this divine art, but some could see its nature. On the city walls, the middle-aged man's face changed drastically. He instinctively took several steps back, his eyes filled with disbelief. This is impossible. This person is merely a beginner in Ascension. How could he possess such terrifying Tao concept? He has actually opened a netherworld river using his own Tao. This kind of cultivation had already reached the brink of probing the path of the heaven's second step. Using Tao to transform into the netherworld, creating his own cycle of life and death, this was Wang Lin's greatest gain from defying the heavens after 10 years of ascension. The Tao concept in Wang Lin's heart was once a vague concept, but after 10 years of comprehension, it was still too little. However, at this moment, stimulated by the Ascension fruit, Wang Lin's mind reached an unimaginable peak. Coupled with the raging immortal power in his body, the vague idea in his heart suddenly crystallized for the first time. This was the most crucial step in his path to cultivation. By taking this step, he truly had his own Tao. From this moment on, he would not cultivate the heavens, not cultivate the earth, not cultivate immortality, not cultivate divinity. He would be a Taoist, a person cultivating the Tao. The netherworld river twisted the earth, dragging the demon generals back. These demon generals struggled desperately within the river, their combined efforts exerting immense force that even caused the newly formed netherworld river to wobble. A flash of red light appeared in Wang Lin's eyes. His body turned into a blur as he stepped into the river formed by his Tao concept. As soon as he entered, the river stabilized like Mount Tai. Those who wish to kill me, enter my netherworld, and partake in my reincarnation, untouched by the heavens and the earth. Wang Lin's voice resonated through the river, merging with it, transforming into the force of reincarnation. The netherworld reversed, disappearing into the void, and all the demon generals vanished with it. In the city, the illusory scorpion formed by the demon soldiers shattered. The 3,000 waves of slaughter chi continued to swirl, taking lives and returning gray mist. This gray mist surged towards Wang Lin as he moved toward the city, forming into a large gray cloak that enveloped the earth. On the city walls, the middle-aged man's face turned pale, his lips dry. He continued to retreat, feeling a sense of helplessness in the face of the man before him. My cultivation is the same as his, both early Ascension cultivators. I was confident I could kill him while he was injured, but now, I don't even have a tenth of the confidence. He has already formed his own Tao, and that netherworld is terrifying. The demon emperor left me here, but it was a trap to doom me. The middle-aged man gritted his teeth and crazily retreated, immediately reaching into his chest and pulling out a fist-sized pitch-black beast bone. Without hesitation, he crushed it in his hand. As the bone shattered, a wave of black gas poured out, swiftly wrapping around him, and in an instant, he was teleported away. This black bone was a rare teleportation item that could directly transport one back to the capital city. It was extremely precious and could only be possessed by those with the rank of marshal. In Wang Lin's eyes, a red light flared as he swung his right hand forward. The 100,000 demon soldiers behind him, combined with the previous 30,000, amounted to a total of 130,000 killing chi, which surged forward wildly. The moment the middle-aged man disappeared, the 130,000 killing chi immediately surged after him. In the imperial capital of Fire Demon County, there was an incredibly luxurious teleportation array. This array could only be used by those holding the rank of marshal. The overseer of Fire Demon County's imperial capital sat cross-legged nearby, meditating quietly. Suddenly, his eyes snapped open, a faint smile appearing at the corner of his mouth. The array activated, and he knew that a marshal had returned. I wonder which demon marshal has returned. He stood up and looked toward the array. But immediately, his expression changed drastically, staring blankly at the array with shock in his eyes. Inside the array, amidst the flashing lights, a withered corpse suddenly fell from the void with a thud. The corpse's dull eyes were wide open, as if filled with intense unwillingness. The death of the deputy commander was an earth-shattering event for any county within the demon spirit land. The demon emperor of Fire Demon County roared in fury, his voice echoing throughout the entire imperial capital. Search. Find out where this cultivator is right now. Kill him. No matter his identity, I will have him killed. Wang Lin left the city at the border of the heavenly demon county, taking with him 100,000 killing chi. The power of the Ascension fruit in his body was still active, and the continuous battles had not weakened his fighting spirit. On the contrary, it became more intense. His killing intent was also growing stronger. He transformed into a meteoric streak filled with murderous intent, soaring past 10,000 Demon Mountain, heading toward the place he sensed. For the past few days, that cold snort had not reappeared. Wang Lin's body, nourished by the Earth's vitality, had recovered and was steadily advancing toward its peak under the vitality of the killing chi. In the ancient battlefield's pagoda, a set of armor missing a wrist guard flickered with ghostly light. In front of it, an old man knelt. The old man was dressed in black, and he was the one who had saved the tiger roar in the past. I bestow upon you 3 pieces of demon armor to stop his progress. You must not allow him to enter this battlefield. With the divine sense reverberating, a wrist guard, a chest plate, and a shoulder guard flew out from the armor. As soon as these 3 pieces of armor flew out, they turned into black silk threads, weaving into the old man's clothes, traveling along his skin. Black veins appeared all over his body, moving like living creatures. When they stopped, a set of black armor appeared on the old man's body. The armor was simple but exuded overwhelming demonic flames. From within these flames, a shadow the size of an arm appeared. This shadow had a single horn on its head, identical to the one Wang Lin had destroyed in the past. The shadow immediately entered the old man's forehead. The old man seemed to endure tremendous pain as blue veins bulged on his body, and his agonized cries echoed through the pagoda, reaching far away. After a long while, the old man's body trembled, and a flicker of ghostly light flashed in his eyes. He spoke respectfully, "I serve the demon servant's command. Go." The ghostly light on the armor dimmed, and a trace of weariness was felt in the divine sense. The old man did not speak further. He stood up, walked out of the pagoda, and gazed at the distant sky. After a moment's thought, he shouted, "Demon soldiers, assemble." As soon as he spoke, a fierce wind swept through the ancient battlefield, cold enough to freeze the earth itself. This wind spiraled around the old man and transformed into a woman in armor. Her face bore a tattoo that extended over her entire body, though it was hidden by the armor. The woman knelt on one knee and softly spoke, "Demon soldier Feng, reporting in." If Wang Lin were here, he would immediately recognize that this woman was strikingly similar to the demon general Xiao Yan. Immediately afterward, the earth trembled, and a series of loud cracking sounds rang out. A pitch-black arm suddenly shot out from the ground, followed by a withered, emaciated old man, who crawled out from the earth like a beast. He looked at the old man with a sinister grin and said, "Demon soldier DMO, reporting in." At this moment, from the distant sky, souls began to gather, forming a massive cloud of darkness that covered the sky. The souls numbered over 100 million. The black cloud shaped like a funnel, and beneath it, a young man with a grim expression walked forward, his steps slow and deliberate. The howls of countless souls echoed behind him. Demon soldier Tiger Roar, reporting in. The wasteland was littered with remnants, the ground cracked, and a foul odor blew in with the wind. Wang Lin's eyes were bloodshot. The miraculous effects of the Ascension fruit had invaded his entire mind over the past few days. His senses were heightened countless times, and even the slightest stimulus could trigger an explosion of power. At this moment, the only thought in Wang Lin's mind was, kill. He moved like lightning, heading straight for the wasteland. Suddenly, a series of thumping sounds erupted from the ground. Soon after, yellow mud spikes made of earth shot up from the ground, piercing towards Wang Lin. As the mud spikes appeared, countless more thrust out of the earth like sinister needles, hissing and stabbing wildly. In an instant, the area around Wang Lin was surrounded by these sharp spikes. Wang Lin's divine sense was extremely sensitive. At this moment, he didn't retreat. Instead, his entire body erupted with immortal power, forming a vortex that swept through, shattering the spikes with a single wave. A pitch-black figure suddenly leaped up from the ground, landing on one of the spikes. This person was emaciated, completely blackened. He kneeled on the spike, his body hunched forward, head tilted as he coldly stared at Wang Lin from several dozen meters away, licking his lips with his tongue. Wang Lin's eyes turned blood red. His body took a step forward, and he pressed his thumb forward. A deadly wave of the annihilation finger appeared in an instant, transforming into a black beam that shot straight at the gaunt elder. The elder grinned ominously. Instead of dodging the annihilation finger, he suddenly opened his mouth wide. In that instant, a shadow appeared behind him, towering 10 meters high, cocoon-shaped, black in appearance with festering pustules. As the elder opened his mouth, the cocoon-shaped shadow behind him also split open, and with a deep breath, the black beam of annihilation was sucked into his mouth. His throat moved as he swallowed it whole. As he swallowed, the shadow behind him also seemed to swallow the annihilation beam. His stomach bulged, and as his body twisted, the pustules on his surface tore open, releasing a vile, foul-smelling liquid. The elder's bony hand reached into the air, grabbing the pus that had been sprayed from the shadow behind him. It solidified in his hand into a thick ball. He stared ominously at Wang Lin, his first words echoing, "Kid, that finger wind was delicious. Let me give you one in return." With that, he suddenly threw the pus ball onto the ground. The pus ball flew with incredible speed and shattered on the earth with a loud crack. The pus within spread out and merged into the ground. Instantly, the ground within 1,000 meters rumbled and trembled. Soon, a large amount of pus began to emerge from the cracks in the earth, quickly forming a circular encirclement. On the outer layer of this ring, a wall of pus rose up into the air, trapping Wang Lin like a cage. The elder licked his lips, his body flickering and disappearing into the wall of pus. As he vanished, the surrounding walls of pus began to close in on Wang Lin from all directions. The walls covered the sky and the ground, rapidly closing in to form a giant spherical cage. Outside the pus sphere, the elder's shadow appeared again, staring coldly at the shrinking pus sphere. He rasped, "Feng, you have no part here. A mere cultivator dares to run wild in my domain. Under my heavenly pus, he will not survive." A cold wind swept across, and a woman with patterned tattoos on her face appeared several dozen meters away. She coldly gazed at the pus sphere, now only 10 meters in diameter, and spoke with a chill in her voice. If it were that easy for him to die, the master wouldn't have sent us here. Oh? Then I must see how this little cultivator can escape from my heavenly pus. The elder grinned, but the grin quickly froze. As the pus sphere shrank to 3 meters in size, it suddenly stopped, unable to shrink any further. From within the sphere, a maddening aura of battle intent and murderous intent burst forth. The murderous aura spread, chilling the air, and the winds howled. The battle intent, mixed with the murderous aura, caused the elder's pupils to contract sharply. At this moment, a deep rumble of thunder came from within the pus sphere. In an instant, a sword beam cleaved through the sphere, charging out. The sword beam was earth-shattering, and with a whistle, it filled the air with sword energy. An immortal sword appeared, and beside it, a divine sword materialized. A dark evil goat spirit appeared on the sword. Next to these two swords, there was a curved blade that hummed ominously, exuding a sinister aura. Behind the three weapons, Wang Lin, with long hair flowing, stepped forward from within the cleaved pus sphere. His eyes were bloodshot, filled with a strange glow of battle intent and killing intent combined. The elder, seeing this, couldn't help but shudder inwardly, silently thinking, this person's gaze is terrifying. The moment he stepped forward, the three weapons in front of Wang Lin shot out rapidly, transforming into 3 beams of strange light, heading straight for the elderly man and the woman. The woman's expression darkened. She swiftly retreated, transforming into wind and vanishing without a trace. The black crescent blade suddenly let out a buzzing sound, its form flickering before it also disappeared into midair. In the sky, a series of muffled grunts and the sounds of metal clashing echoed, rapidly resonating around them. A cold gleam appeared in the elderly man's eyes as he ignored the 3 weapons approaching him. With both hands forming seals, he suddenly extended them, shouting "Earth soar." The earth trembled. Within a radius of 1,000 meters around the elderly man, the ground shook, and circular light rings appeared. The rings within these circles grew, swelling rapidly. This scene resembled sores growing on a human face, but now, the sores were on the earth itself. "Explode!" the elderly man roared. At that moment, his aura surged like a rainbow, and with a single word, the sores on the earth ruptured. "Explode your bird!" Su Ligua, inside the immortal sword, suddenly materialized and began cursing at the skinny old man. He directly manipulated the sword, sweeping it towards him. The old man's eyes showed impatience, and with a sudden grasp of his right hand, he tried to seize the immortal sword. In his view, grabbing the sword with his bare hands was easy for him with his cultivation. Seeing the old man reach for it, Su Ligua inwardly smirked. Instead of dodging, he slowed down his movement, waiting for the old man to grab it. The moment the old man's hand reached the sword, the immortal sword suddenly slashed. The elderly man let out a miserable cry as his entire hand was severed, all 5 fingers cut off, bleeding profusely. What sword is this?" the elderly man exclaimed in shock, quickly retreating. But the immortal sword relentlessly pursued him. Meanwhile, the sword that had transformed into the evil goat spirit also flashed by, aiming directly at the elderly man from behind. As the sores on the earth shattered, a foul liquid, thick as 10 meters, surged into the sky, creating ripples that spread out. Wang Lin's immortal power surged through his body. Standing in midair, he took a step forward towards the elderly man, who was entangled with the 2 swords. The elderly man roared in anger as a cocoon-shaped shadow materialized behind him. He was about to unleash a divine power, but Wang Lin stepped forward, shattering the void and appearing directly above him. His blood-red eyes locked onto the shadow, and with a grab of his right hand, waves of slaughter chi poured into the shadow. Squeezing his right hand, he yanked the shadow from behind the old man with a tearing sound. Wang Lin's gaze flashed as he threw the cocoon into the void behind him. Then, with a powerful grasp, he crushed the cocoon in the air. With a loud bang, the cocoon exploded, spraying foul liquid everywhere. A muffled grunt echoed from the void. From the place where the cocoon exploded, Feng Yin's form materialized. Her face was pale, but her eyes were even darker. Beside her, the black crescent blade appeared once more, rushing towards Wang Lin. Feng Yin's right hand waved, holding a dagger. With a clash of metals, the crescent blade was sent flying back, and Feng Yin was forced to retreat a few steps. She had just arrived at the scene, and before she could fully assess the situation, she was shaken by the impact of the cocoon's explosion. She wasn't sure if Wang Lin had noticed her presence earlier or if it was just a coincidence. After crushing the cocoon, the frail elderly man spat out a mouthful of blood, his eyes filled with disbelief. At that moment, Wang Lin pressed his thumb down, and the annihilation black light appeared once again. This time, the black light shot out violently. Its speed was too fast, and it was already close to the elderly man. As soon as it appeared, it descended in front of him. The old man, pale, opened his mouth and swallowed. The black light entered, but instead of dispersing, it pierced through his back. At that moment, Feng threw her dagger. The dagger clashed with the crescent blade as her body took a step forward, transforming into a gust of wind, charging straight at Wang Lin, who had his back to her. The speed of the wind was incredibly fast, and before it could even register, she was upon him. Wang Lin did not turn around. Instead, he brushed his hand across his storage pouch, and the Kunji whip appeared in his hand. The long whip, entirely black, emitted an aura that made souls tremble. As Feng reached him, the Kunji whip suddenly lashed out. A loud crack echoed through the air as Feng let out a miserable cry. Her form materialized from the void, a red whip mark across her face. Her eyes showed the first sign of shock. She no longer wished to fight but to retreat swiftly. At this moment, Wang Lin, driven by the stimulation of the Ascension fruit, had lost all self-awareness. Everything he did was driven by instinct. Feng, wanting to retreat, naturally moved at incredible speed, capable of keeping up with the crescent blade. She vanished almost without a trace as she retreated. Without a second thought, Wang Lin formed a hand seal, and suddenly, a massive hand seal appeared in front of him. The nameless palm seal, which had once shocked Mo Lehigh, manifested. Within this hand seal, Wang Lin's slaughter chi automatically merged into it, moving with it. The wind howled as the handprint chased with an unimaginable speed, passing through the retreating Wind Whisperer's body. Wind Whisperer's body shuddered, and the slaughter chi entered his body. With a loud bang, his flesh and blood collapsed into pieces. A gentle breeze swept by as Wang Lin's long hair fluttered, and he stepped toward the distance. Beside him, 3 weapons whistled through the air. On the ground, shattered flesh and a dried corpse lay, leaving behind endless death energy. That handprint, it's him. Could this person have some connection with him? Could it be that he has arrived here too? Panic surged in his divine sense. Normally, with his composure, his mind wouldn't show such panic. But the figure of the person in his heart was too terrifying, too fearsome. Even with his cultivation, just recalling him now made his heart tremble. Although this person's handprint has many discrepancies, it bears 70% resemblance to that person's divine abilities. Is this a coincidence, or... Wang Lin. A loud shout thundered from the horizon. It was one person's voice, but also the collective cry of over 100 million souls fused together. The voice roared, transmitting in a series of sonic booms, making the world tremble. It seemed as though only this sound echoed through the heavens. Wang Lin, whose primordial spirit had been invaded by the Ascension fruit, regained a slight clarity under this roar. His eyes, though still burning with crimson radiance, now showed a rare glimmer of lucidity. He turned around and looked behind him. A black cloud filled the sky, whistling toward him. This black cloud was made up of countless souls, each filled with powerful soul energy. As they roared, waves of terrifying fluctuations spread. Beneath this black cloud, a young man dressed in black stepped through the void. His appearance was ordinary, but there was an intense hatred surging in his eyes. He stared at Wang Lin and gritted his teeth, shouting, "Wang Lin, do you still recognize me?" Wang Lin's eyes showed a hint of clarity as he gazed at the person. His voice was low and somber as he spoke, tiger roar. "You still recognize me? Wang Lin, today, I will personally kill you." Tiger Roar laughed maniacally. As he laughed, the soul cloud above him trembled, and a tremendous pressure emanated from the countless souls, enveloping the world. "Wang Lin, you didn't expect this, did you? Back then, you were an invincible force in my eyes. But now, in my sight, you are no more than an ant." Tiger Roar glared at Wang Lin, venting the resentment he had built up over the past decade. He didn't hurry to strike. He wanted to vent. "Indeed, I didn't expect this." Wang Lin's voice remained calm as always. "Back then, you abandoned me in 13. Do you know how much suffering we endured? Especially me. That commander crushed my meridians and broke my bones. In that black prison, I endured endless torment and humiliation. Where were you then? When I called out countless times, hoping you would come to save me, where were you? In your eyes, me and 13 were nothing but pawns. How ridiculous that 13 still didn't know your true nature." Tiger Roar screamed in rage, and the 100 million souls above seemed to feel his agitation, howling in response. Fortunately, heaven had eyes. It didn't let me die then, but instead gave me a second life. I met my master. In this place, I mastered the soul-refining technique. With daily cultivation, I have forged 100 million souls. Today, in my eyes, you are doomed to die. But I won't kill you so easily. I will seal your soul inside your body and throw you into the cruelest black prison in the 9 commanderies. You will endure endless humiliation, but you won't be able to die. Then, I will extract your soul and keep it in a soul banner, torturing you every day. Tiger Roar stared venomously at Wang Lin, his eyes flashing with mockery. He continued, "Did you ever think that one day someone would use the divine abilities you once taught to kill you? Do you know what it feels like to have 100 million souls devour your body? Once I collect your soul, I'll return to the soul-refining tribe and turn everyone there into souls." Tiger Roar trembled with excitement, his voice rising into a manic laugh. "You really hate me that much?" Wang Lin fell silent for a long time before slowly speaking. "Hate? Of course I hate you. I, Tiger Roar, will never live an ordinary life. With the soul-refining technique and the 100 million souls, I will stand at the peak of the demon spirit land. You are not worthy to be my master, even if you once were. You must die." Arrogant laughter erupted from Tiger Roar. At this moment, he indeed had the right to be arrogant. With the power of 100 million souls, he was formidable, especially considering that nearly all of these souls were the heroic souls from the ancient battleground, whose cultivation before death was formidable. Some even belonged to demon generals. This made him even more terrifying. With the soul banner in hand, no one, except my master who saved my life, can stop me. No one can stop me. 100 million souls are nothing. My goal is 1 billion, 100 billion. I will make the demon spirit land give birth to the 10th commandery. And the first demon emperor of the 10th commandery will be me, Tiger Roar. Wang Lin quietly looked at Tiger Roar and slowly said, "So, you want to kill me? Hatred is only half of it. The other half is that you want to kill everyone who knows the soul-refining technique, so that no one will ever use the same divine abilities as you and steal your souls. Am I right?" Tiger Roar glared at Wang Lin, letting out a sinister laugh. "As expected of my former master. Yes, you treated me as a pawn, teaching me the soul-refining art. Even if I hate it, I wouldn't hold it against you too much. But during my time in the Black Prison, I came to a realization. Why should you be my master? Just because you're strong? What if I become stronger in the future? What then? So, from the moment I was saved, I swore to become stronger, surpass you, and then kill you." Wang Lin shook his head slightly, casting a careful glance at Tiger Roar, and said, "To reach your level in just 10 or so years. I have only seen such talent once in my life. Even the celestial lady from back in the day couldn't compare in this regard. At first, I didn't understand. Your talent is exceptional, perhaps even stronger than the red butterfly I encountered back then. But to reach this level in such a short time, to control so many souls, I couldn't understand it. Now, I do. You must have cultivated a technique to trigger your potential and life force. You'll reach a peak very quickly, but that peak will last only a short while. In fact, it may not even last a full day." "Shut up." Tiger Roar's face contorted with rage. He pointed to the sky, and immediately, a black mist erupted from the soul cloud, separating into millions of souls. At his command, they surged toward Wang Lin, howling as they rushed in. "Let me show you what 1,000,000 souls look like. You've probably never seen anything like this in your life." Tiger Roar laughed wildly. The conversation between the two was clearly heard by Su Ligua inside the immortal sword. He sneered inwardly at Tiger Roar, thinking, "This kid doesn't know the heavens from the earth. Your old master, Su, has betrayed multiple times without success. If you succeed, I'll change my name to Tiger and call myself Tiger Ligua." Betrayal is a dangerous thing, requiring intellect, especially when the traitor is a disaster like you. It's not as simple as you think. Wang Lin gazed up at the sky quietly as millions of souls transformed into a black mist, roaring toward him. It had been a long time since he had seen such a sight. The souls, each one howling and fierce, seemed to be unwilling to stop until they had completely consumed everything in their path, crazily charging toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin sighed softly, extending his right hand toward the horizon. A symbol flashed in the palm of his hand. In that instant, as the million souls approached, they suddenly halted in unison, all staring at the symbol without moving. This strange scene made Tiger Roar freeze for a moment. "The soul-refining art. This is not how it works," Wang Lin murmured softly. He waved his right hand, and at that moment, the souls, in unison, revealed respectful expressions in their eyes. Among these souls, Tiger Roar was the master, but upon seeing the symbol in Wang Lin's hand, they immediately understood that the true master stood before them. This is impossible, impossible. In Tiger Roar's mind, the connection with the million souls abruptly vanished. He was stunned, his face contorting with rage as he screamed, "Million souls devour." As his words echoed, the endless black clouds in the sky pressed down violently. Over 100 million souls surged forth. In that moment, it felt as if the entire world was consumed by these souls, endless, timeless. Tiger Roar's face twisted with fury as he seemed to witness Wang Lin about to be devoured. The million souls roared as they came, but Wang Lin merely sent his divine sense out, sweeping across the scene. The flaw left in the soul-refining art from years ago immediately erupted, and every soul refined through Wang Lin's technique was now under his absolute control. The million souls trembled, their eyes immediately revealing respect as they surrounded Wang Lin, forming a black cloud. As for Tiger Roar, his eyes became vacant, and there were no souls left around him. This sharp contrast, this bizarre scene, left Tiger Roar's mind in utter chaos. Your soul-refining art, though modified to make it more flexible, cannot change its fundamental nature. Without true inheritance, without thousands of years of ritual, how could it be so easily altered? Wang Lin said calmly. Wang Lin was the direct descendant of the soul-refining art. The soul-refining sect revered the soul banner, and though this technique was not a world-shaking divine power, it had been passed down and refined for countless generations. How could someone with only a decade of training easily rebuild it without any real inheritance? Tiger Roar's benefactor could not do it. Perhaps the armored figure could, but he wouldn't waste his energy on such trivial matters. Impossible. How could this be? My benefactor clearly told me he had fixed the flaw in the technique. Why? Tiger Roar's vacant eyes suddenly filled with madness. He stared at the souls surrounding Wang Lin and shouted, "Souls, return." His voice almost tore through the air, but the souls around Wang Lin ignored him entirely, surrounding him respectfully. "Soul, return quickly." Tiger Roar bellowed frantically, but the souls continued to hover around Wang Lin. In his intense rage, Tiger Roar's heart was attacked, and his body swayed as he spat out a mouthful of fresh blood. After years of tirelessly refining souls, his confidence had grown with every passing day. When the moment came that 100 million souls gathered, he believed he could tear through the heavens, that he had become a true powerhouse, capable of killing Wang Lin and taking his place. But now, everything was crumbling before Wang Lin. All his years of effort, handed over to Wang Lin. The fury inside him boiled, almost causing him to collapse. "Wang Lin, I will kill you." Tiger Roar's face was flushed with veins bulging, his entire being driven to madness. In this moment, he was even more frantic than when Wang Lin swallowed the Ascension fruit. Hope had come, and it was only when that hope shattered that the despair hit harder, the madness even greater. Wang Lin's eyes showed a complex expression. With a wave of his right hand, he sighed and said, "You betrayed me, so before you die, I'll let you see the true power of the soul banner." The billion soul banner flew out of his storage pouch. With a shake, the surrounding souls, numbering in the millions, trembled and began to merge rapidly. In the blink of an eye, millions of souls became one. This soul was crystal clear, and it sent a punch toward Tiger Roar from midair. When the punch landed, Tiger Roar's body trembled, and his soul shattered into pieces. Wang Lin sighed softly, waved the soul banner again, and all 100 million souls were absorbed within. His eyes were clear, but a hint of struggle could be seen. He stared ahead, where, far in the distance, there was a towering black pagoda. Under the tower stood an old man, dressed in black armor, who also gazed at him. Wang Lin's gaze shifted from the old man to the black tower. He could feel a thick, ominous demonic aura leaking from the tower. This was true demonic aura, distinctly different from the energy produced by cultivators after embracing the demonic path. After coming back to his senses, Wang Lin's pupils contracted. This demonic aura was incredibly strong, far stronger than he had anticipated. The person inside the tower was an unparalleled expert. Wang Lin took a deep breath. His essence spirit had not yet fully fused with his physical body. It would take half a month before he could reach the perfect state of soul and body unity. Only then would his position in the Ascension stage be secure. The Ascension fruit is too domineering. While it helped me withstand this person, it also drove me into a madness I have never experienced before. Wang Lin exhaled, his gaze still fixed ahead. The old man in black armor stepped forward. As his foot landed, the ground trembled, sending ripples under Wang Lin's feet. Late stage of the Ascension phase. This person's cultivation. No, it's not right. His true cultivation isn't this high. It's that armor he's wearing. Wang Lin's eyes showed signs of struggle once more. The madness brought on by the Ascension fruit was fighting to take control, trying to replace his divine sense and drag him back into that frenzy. Wang Lin's eyes flashed with cold light, and he snorted, suppressing the rage of the Ascension fruit once again. Raising his right hand to the sky, thunder rumbled, and a vast river appeared, cutting across the sky. Then, with his left hand, he tapped his forehead. A golden light ran along his brow and gathered at the tip of his left finger, revealing the sword energy of Ling Tianho. The old man in black armor's gaze flickered, and his steps halted.